Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to our little run-through of Descent into Avernus. This is session 14, I believe. Yay! Session 14. Dang, okay. So, before I get into the recap, some announcements. If you listen to podcasts, you can check out Mimics and Monstrosities on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean, and listen to our backlog of our pirate campaign, Beneath the Tide. But you will also listen to our backlog of Demystifying DMing, and I'm going to be going through the process of adding all the other campaigns, I think, to the podcast, because more content is fun, and it gives me something else to do during this quarantine, essentially. And that's it for announcements, honestly. Pretty easygoing. So, last time we left off, you guys took your vehicle, your little vehicle, and headed to Haruman's Hill before dealing with Ragadraga and his group of wereboars and wererats and completely annihilating them. With Kronder's excellent driving and everything else, just completely annihilated that vehicle and crushed everyone, ran them over, and then it was gross. It was bad. Didn't go how I'd expected it would go, and you guys came out no worse for wear, essentially.
And then things went uphill and then downhill.
And one of you acquired a circlet of blasting from Ragadraga, which is very useful. Not really in the Nine Hells, if I think about it, actually.
No, not. That's my main issue with Saffron is half her spells are freaking fire spells.
But you guys proceeded towards Haruman's Hill, where Lulu said that was her last memory of where the Bleeding Citadel was. And you guys went there and saw a bunch of impaled figures on these metal trees. And being nice individuals, most of you got out of the vehicle to kind of pull someone off the tree, who looked like they were a vampire. And upon pulling them off the tree, their body turned to dust, and a bunch of these sturges that were feeding on the bodies attacked. And not long after, the individual the hill was named after, Haruman, a large armored fiend on a flaming horse, came flying down, and long story short, killed Mortis by impaling him through the back, and then impaled Saffron on a tree, but stabilized Saffron while they were impaled on the tree. And Mortis' soul was pulled from his body after a failed resurrection ritual, and returned to the party as I pronounced it wrong last week. I said lemure, but a lemure. And it crawled forth from the River Styx, this mass of just fiendish flesh, with Mortis's twisted face, and it slowly limbers towards the party, with only Salen and Kronder conscious. So I need Salen and Kronder to roll initiative.
Oh, love it.
Oh, God.
Oh! 20.
20.
11.
11 for Kronder. Alright, so, to recap for Alex, she's got here. You're dead. Saffron is impaled but stable on a tree. Salen and Kronder are by themselves as a lemure with your face twisted like soul visage crawls out of the River Styx. And Salen, that means you go first.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I got a second level spell left.
Nice.
So that's about all I got. So I'm just going to throw a moonbeam at this lemure.
Sure.
Read it.
Yeah, it looks like lemur. Alright, that's a dex. That's a dex or con save.
That is a con, yeah, con 15.
13.
That fails.
So this lumbering mass of just flesh with Mortis's twisted face on it, coming out of the bank of the river, coming out of the River Styx, slowly limbering towards you guys, just and then just,
Moonbeam. That is going to be, 10 points of radiant damage.
Not looking so great.
Is Lulu in the turn order?
Oh, good. Good. Thank you. I always forget to add Lulu to the turn order.
I love elephants.
Lulu got a 16. Okay. So that nearly kills the lemure. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna basically back away from it a little bit. Maybe like 15 feet.
Okay. All right. That your turn.
Yeah.
All right. That'll bring us to Lulu, who is going to fly over to where Saffron is, and I'll be nice and say you can be healed while on that thing, but it won't hurt you anyway. So she's gonna like touch her trunk to your forehead and cast heal, and you regain 70 hit points.
Okay. My girl is back and crucified.
Yes. That's Lulu's turn. That'll bring it to. Oh, so roll initiative actually. Once you come up.
Can do. One is 2.
2.
That's
Okay.
one.
Okay. So that happens. That'll bring it to Kronder. This moonbeam just nearly eradicates this lemure.
Great. I'm gonna just like flick the little crystal on my staff, and it makes like a ringing noise. And I'm gonna cast Toll the Dead.
Okay, that's a wisdom save, right?
Wisdom.
3.
It failed.
So it's the D12.
Ha 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 ha. I love these guys. Okay. It's 13 points of necrotic damage.
It like lurches forward and then just its head just pops like a melon.
Oh, gross.
It had 3 hit points left. And as that happens, Lulu starts like pulling Saffron off the tree, and as you're getting pulled off the tree, the wound just closes, just because the healing finally finishes. And as like the 3 of you are sitting there, you can look over and you can see Mortis's body just kind of face down in the dirt up on the hill.
Do you guys want to keep the body?
How close am I to the rest of the group?
30 feet.
Okay. Saffron will kind of limp over, and since thankfully we did do quite a bit of reading on the 9 hells beforehand, so kind of try to limp over to Mortis's corpse.
Okay.
And take hold of the water skin that she recalls Mortis filled with holy water, that mirror at the temple.
Okay.
Going to kind of try to limp over, sprinkle that on the remains of the lemure.
Okay. What's Kronder and Salen doing?
Listen, we need to get out of here before that guy shows up again.
Yeah, I agree. I say we find a better place. We bury Mortis, and we just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I really don't want to get killed by that guy. That looked terrible.
So,
Don't bury him yet. He may come back.
Well, no, that's why we're taking the body.
So,
yeah, we don't bury him.
I realize that this isn't the right place, since my memories are kind of coming back a little better.
Oh, wow, thanks.
A little hazier than I initially realized. So, I've kind of pondered my dream a little bit, and I think there's 2 sites that seem important in defining the Citadel. There's where the demons manifest, and then there's the place where demons are destroyed.
So, these are important. How are they important?
You could say They're both paths that'll lead us there. We can pick one or the other.
Okay. Offhand, I would say perhaps the place where demons are destroyed.
Just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let's just start going. I was honestly thinking we maybe even go back to Fort Knucklebone, regroup there for a quick minute, and then head out to somewhere.
That is not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, I'm down to get out of here.
Yeah, a little fortification.
Yeah.
We can probably tell Mad Maggie that we killed Raga Draga. I'm sure she'll love that.
Oh, I bet she will.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Mortis comes back, we don't bury him. If he does not come back, then we bury him. Anyways, let's go. Let's go.
Right.
I'm guessing it kind of takes all three of us to put the heavily armored dwarf on the car.
Yes. And you guys can secure Mortis pretty easily in one of the passenger compartments. Which reminds me, Mortis was originally manning the harpoon flinger. Who's going to be doing that now?
You feel like shooting some harpoons, Stefan? Or
I think I can handle it fairly well. I can shoot a crossbow decently enough.
Okay.
yeah, I'll just sit in the back.
All right.
Think about my life and think about my choices, and think about how much I hate it here.
Alright, I'm gonna gun it.
Please.
Nyum.
Alrighty. And as soon as you take off, just poof, back towards Fort Knucklebone. And as you're driving along, something is there that wasn't there before. You guys drove for maybe about 20 minutes. And as you're kind of like roaring across the wasteland, you see a collection of brightly colored tents that stand clustered together, creating an oasis of comfort amid the dread landscape of Avernus. Huge infernal war machines form a horseshoe about the tents, with curtains made of small rectangular iron plates and lamps dangling from chains strung between them. Soft, lilting music and wondrous smells drift across the hot winds, inviting a closer look.
Hey, this thing seems kind of cool. Should we check it out?
Yeah.
I's the only one who smells a trap. If it's inviting and nice and comfy in hell,
This place, it seems kind of familiar.
It seems familiar. We're going.
good.
I also could use to meet some new people who aren't madcaps or redcaps or flash columns.
Okay, but if we get shanked in an alley somewhere, I'm blaming you again.
No, this one's
There
my
aren't any
fault.
alleys.
Space between tents, whatever. If we get shanked, I'm blaming you again.
I feel like this one would be my fault. Honk honk. I don't think there's actually like a honking button. I think Fronter just makes the noise.
Okay.
So we will pull up to the tents.
Okay.
Yeah, do they seem...
They seem nice and brightly colored, and yeah.
Okay.
And at the entrance, you see a sign that you can all read, and it says, "All are welcome here. No fighting, no spell casting, no exceptions."
Oh, that's kind of interesting. What if I wanted to cast like Mage Hand?
I think that would be an exception, and I'm guessing no.
Oh wow. So do we have to get out of the car?
Yeah,
To,
it looks like it's like a market, a traveling market, like a traveling emporium.
Okay, great. I'm gonna hop out.
Okay. As soon as you hop out, an individual kind of comes out of the market, or the emporium rather, and it's like a kind of darker skinned man, kind of like a kind of pointed beard with white streaks through it. He's got like a blue headband with white stripes down it, a pierced eyebrow, pierced ear. He's wearing like a blue kind of shawl with like many like iron like kind of hooks through it, kind of like keeping it hooked together. Underneath that, he's wearing like a blue tunic with really nice kind of like braided rope armbands, a very big brown sash-like belt with a dagger through it, and then kind of like golden pants with kind of like blue lines all over them, and kind of curled up boots. And he goes, "Ah, welcome, welcome to Mahadi's Wandering Emporium. I am Mahadi.
I'm Crowder.
Ah, it's nice to meet you, of course.
Zephyrin von Brandt.
Nice to meet you."
So,
Wonderful.
what do you got here?
Oh, I have lots of things. And he kind of like looks into at the back of the vehicle and he sees Mortis. He's like, "Ah, what happened to your friend there?"
God, what
Yeah.
didn't?
Yeah, you know that Haruman's hill?
Ah, yes.
We met Haruman and that happened.
Oh, that's not great. Well, I could take a look at him and see if I could fix him.
I mean, yeah, like if you really want to, we did try.
Okay. Well,
And it did not work.
and he kind of looks at Lulu, and she looks at him. And they look at each other. Like there's kind of a recognition there. And he looks at her and he goes, "Ah, Lulu. Nice to see you again. Just so you all know, I sheltered Lulu here for a while.
Oh.
Well, if you're friends of Lulu, you're friends of mine. So, just so you know, if you're here to do business, there's a lot of things. I myself own the Infernal Rapture. You could think of it as a inn, a tavern, a safe
That's
place
great.
of
I was gonna say,
respite. Ooh.
sort of sounds like a brothel.
It's not, but
Oh. Well, like, great name if it would be, though.
I agree.
So you say it is like a tavern.
Well, of course, we
or
have dining
inn.
services, spa services, other services. There's the forge, the Fire Snake Forge. There's Bernie the Barber. There is From Here to Avernus. It's a sort of spellcaster's shop, if you're one of them.
I'm one of them.
There's also Icker's Away, if you want to sell and buy demon Icker. There's the Larva Farm, and that's about it.
Lava farm.
Yes, Larva Farm.
Lava of what exactly?
Well, there are larvae from Yugoloths.
Ah,
They're, well, fun. That said, your friend here, he kind of gestures towards, Mortis, and says, "I could bring your friend back. There is always a price, though, of course.
yeah.
So whoever is willing to pay said price, we can talk privately about that."
Shall we
What's
discuss?
the price?
Well, they're non-negotiable. We have to sign a contract. And some of these offers that I do myself is I can give you certain things. But I could resurrect someone who has died pretty simply. The only. And since we're in the hells, the contract would require you give up your soul forever. Only when you die. It's not like right now you lose your soul. Think of it as making the lord of this entire place very happy.
I just like. I don't know the guy that well.
We can talk if you want to go to from here to Avernus. If you two do. There's probably nothing really for me there.
What?
From here to Avernus, wasn't that the magic place?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, I want to go there.
Yeah, Ponder, if you and Saffron want to go check it out.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Just so you know, our currency we mostly use soul coins.
Great.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
And he kind of just motions his hand for the interior of the Wandering Emporium.
How many soul coins do we have?
But you also wanted to keep
We
them.
did get some.
Because I know I wrote some down.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like I remember to put them in my equipment. Oh wait, no, I put them in my equipment. Never mind. We're good.
Oh hell yeah.
We have 5.
Okay.
I mean, I think we did get some from Ragadraga, but it was only like 3 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote down 3.
Fair enough. Well, that is better than 0, and I'm not familiar with the exchange rate of soul coins, so perhaps one might get us something.
On my like way past, I'm just gonna like grab Salen's hand and like pat it in like a very like dearly grandfatherly way, and be like, just be careful, okay? Make good choices and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to start doing that.
I believe in you.
And he basically just he gestures for Kronder and Sephron to go into the Emporium. And he looks at Salen. And what about you?
I mean, can I see the contract?
Of course.
Or is it just like, boom, take my soul?
And he snaps his fingers and a contract appears in his hands. And it says... A character signing... Well, yeah, character signing one of these contracts. A loyal priest of Asmodeus will be sent to resurrect a deceased individual. The price is the individual who is buying the service must give up their soul forever. After the signing character, mechanic-wise, after the signing character reaches 17th level, if at any point they die, their death is permanent with no chance to return from the grave. Asmodeus takes their soul and makes them a pit fiend in his service for eternity.
Oh, out of character, that's pretty cool.
That's basically a Balrog. I can see the perks.
So that's the contract.
Sorry, what?
That's the contract. Right down in there, you can see. You offer up your soul willingly. I can't make you do it. But your friend, he kind of points at Mortis's body. There's like some flies kind of flying around it now. Bring him back to life. You sign your soul over to Asmodeus. And a long time from now, if you die, you become a pit fiend in his service.
I mean, am
Well, it's after 17th level if you die. That's when it happens. Again, I'm not going to... I can't force anyone to sign a contract. It's just... This is the offer we have, unfortunately, here in the Hells. Death isn't exactly something you can cheaply play with.
It is a pretty good offer. And maybe the friends can do some shopping and I'll think about it.
All right. Are you going to think about it? Are you going to think about it here, or are you going to go wander around inside? I'll make sure your friend's body is safe.
Okay.
We do have quite a nice protection around this place. No one's going to come try taking his body.
I'll probably just sit here and think about it.
All right. If you want to find me, I will be in my establishment. Just in case you, well, the Infernal Rapture, in case you look for me. And he kind of gives you like an elegant bow and kind of just turns and walks back into the establishment, bringing us to Sephron and Kronder as you guys are kind of wandering the Emporium, eventually finding, you guys are going to the magic shop, right?
Yeah.
From here to Avernus? Okay. So as you guys approach, you can easily find the little stall, not stall rather, but the shop. And behind the counter, running the place, you see this strange looking fiend. They're kind of like bulbous, best way to describe it. They're kind of like egg-shaped. They have like 8 chins, a domed head, very egg-shaped, and 2 tiny, very, very tiny wings. 2 kind of greenish arms, weird green skin. Their lips are like pulled up in a constant smile, with thousands of like needle-like fangs. And they're wearing like a purple robes with like red trim and like red jewels all over it. And the little fiend just kind of looks at all of you and goes, "Oh, hello.
Hi.
My name is Fatala.
Cool. What are ya?
I'm one that you would call an amnesu."
Cool. I'm just gonna write that down in my little notebook.
Okay, and you see a bunch of imps kind of flying around like they're doing courier activity.
Oh, this is so cool.
So, what are you here for?
We were told you had magic stuff.
Oh,
True.
yes.
Yes.
Well, sort of.
Define sort of.
Well, I deal in soul coins. I can deliver parcels, I can be a notary, and I might have some magic items to sell you.
Out of curiosity, Sephron will take off the circlet of blasting.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, this is a recent procurement off of the rather pulped head of a werewolf.
Oh,
Circlet of-
interesting.
Yeah. Circular testing. How many soul coins might I get for an item such as this?
Oh. Interesting. Well, let me do the math. As I pull up some stuff. $15 soul coins.
Would that happen to be roughly equivalent to any of the magic items you might have for sale?
Does that mean you're looking to do a trade?
Bit of an inquiry, but suppose so.
Well, How scared are you of the River Styx?
Well, we almost fell in it and was quite promptly informed by a friend that that would not have been a fun experience.
No, it wouldn't. You lose your mind. So, I have certain items that could match that if you're looking for a trade. I have it. He kind of pulls out this jug, a big like clay pot that's got like hundreds of like stoppers all over it. Alchemy jug.
I
And-
can actually make those, so.
Well then, bag of holding.
I currently have one of those.
Well, let's see then. Let us see. He kind of sort of like digging through his collection of just random items. I also have, well, what's interests you?
Well, it depends. My little gnome friend, what do you think we are in dire need of presently?
Well, that depends. Where are you going?
I think she was talking to me, buddy.
Yeah,
Oh,
gnome friend.
well,
I don't know that we actually need anything. I was just really curious what kind of goodies they were selling in hell. So far, I'm not very impressed.
Fair. We haven't necessarily decided on a specific location. We are hoping to choose between, if I recall the Hollyphant's words correctly, either the place where demons are, or devils, are created and the place where they are destroyed.
oh, interesting. So either the spawning trees or the demon zapper.
We actually have names for those. Yes, those seem to be our options.
Well, you don't have to trade your item if you want to keep it. Not everything down here is good against fire. Most of us are, but I also can sell you things for soul coins. Better things if you are so curious.
What might we get for 5 soul coins?
5 soul coins. Well, that would translate to about 500 gold pieces. So anything that would be worth 500 gold pieces. Each soul coin costs about 100 gold.
Fair enough.
If you want to know the exchange rate, essentially.
To that extent. No, I personally don't need very much in the way of spell reagents. Most I had was for creating schwats, and she kind of like pets the little mechanical dragon on her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What about you?
I could use some incense and herbs.
Incense and herbs.
Yeah. My familiar kind of got poofed, but I didn't bring enough stuff with me to bring them back. Because I really wasn't expecting to show up in hell. So,
Interesting. He kind of just looks at you with a, like that smile gets a little bigger. And he's gonna stare prone for a little bit.
I'm going to stare back.
Okay. He just kind of look at you and.
I'm also going to be jotting down anatomy notes in my book.
Have I seen you before?
Probably not.
Interesting. Well, interesting. But yes, I could give you herbs and incense for no cost. Why
Perfect.
not? He just hands over enough components to cast Find Familiar once.
Thanks. I'm very excited.
So,
Hypothetically, would you have any items of an alchemical nature, potions and the like?
interesting. I. I do. Are you looking to buy potions?
Possibly. What sort of potions might you have in stock?
Healing, climbing, poison, all kinds.
Hmm.
Invisibility, invulnerability.
A potion of invisibility would be quite. That would be quite useful, I think.
Okay.
You know, I bet that invulnerability potion would have been useful for your dwarf friend.
Probably would have. I'm not going to lie. Probably.
Dwarf friend.
How he's dead.
Oh, condolences. You could speak to Mahadi about that.
Our friend is presently doing that.
Oh, wonderful.
Um,
So are you curious of the potion of invisibility?
I am, as sadly, while our dwarf friend was the recipient of most of the hostile attentions this time, I often, unfortunately, find myself in compromising positions in battle. So having that option would be quite nice.
200 soul coins.
200 soul, 200 soul coins.
Correct. If you want the exchange rates, if you are buying this in the smelly material plane, you'd be looking at 20,000 gold pieces.
Okay, well, we aren't quite that rich at this point. I mean, I have my own healing magic, so does Salem.
I could sell you something a little more, well, less permanent. Well, not even permanent, the potion's not permanent, but maybe something a little more cheap.
Do you have any scrolls? You got spells?
I was just about to mention this. I currently have 3 scrolls. Not many people come through here looking for scrolls because it's just a lot of fiends, and fiends aren't exactly, well,
The learned tech.
sure.
Maybe, maybe don't call the person we're trying to buy from not intelligent.
Ah,
So currently I have a spell scroll of invisibility.
great.
Great enough.
What other spell scrolls do you have?
There's that one. I also have... Oh, what is it? Let me check. I have invisibility. I also have some other more fun ones to play with. I have Big B's Hand, and I also have, well, Animate Objects.
Beauty and the Beast spell.
Alright.
Well, let me see. Odd call.
For the invisibility spell scroll, it'll run you about... Oh dear, let me see. 10 soul coins.
Okay, that is certainly more.
Or take it or leave it.
No.
Yeah, that's fair.
10 soul coins for the invisibility. Oh, wait, actually. Halved. For consumables, I forgot. 5 soul coins for this invisibility scroll. Which also means that that potion I told you was actually 10,000. So it'd be 100 soul coins.
Still a little bit out of order.
So 5 soul coins for the scroll of invisibility.
How about the circle of blasting was a scroll and the remainder in soul coins? So 10 soul coins.
10 soul coins. For what exactly? The potion?
For the scroll of invisibility.
The scroll of invisibility is only 5 soul coins.
But that's what I'm saying. I would give you the circle of blasting. You give me the spell, the scroll, as well as the remainder of the cost of the circlet in soul coins.
Fair enough. So he hands you a spell scroll, 3rd level spell scroll of invisibility, and yeah, the soul coins get exchanged.
Hey, you got any good paper and ink?
I do not, unfortunately. If you do want some, you might want to go. Actually, you might want to speak to me. Ha ha ha. 1 soul coin for a stack. 1 soul coin will get you about 10 pieces of paper and 5 bottles of ink.
Give me 1 second as I rack my brain about how I do this with my learning spells.
Fair enough. And with that, we're going to go back to Salen and... Well, Salen, because Mahadi went back into his shop.
Yeah. Dylan's just been chilling, meditating, dithering. And yeah, then he's just gonna go fetch Mahadi and make that deal.
Alright, so as soon as you enter the Infernal Rapture, he appears in front of you, he kind of finds you, and holds a contract in front of you. And it says, patrons must pay for everything consumed and all services used before they leave.
What's all this? Huh?
It's a contract. You sign it just so no one steals from me.
Oh, is this like the inn contract?
This is a different one, yes.
You love your contract.
I do. And as you kind of enter, you do feel like, as you entered the Infernal Rapture, you did feel kind of like as your ears kind of popped. And he's just like, just so you know, you're no longer in the Nine Hells in here, technically. This is a Denny plane.
Oh. Neat.
Your friends are not in the Denny plane. You are. But yes, if you wish to use... If you... Yeah, yes, but you're technically not in the Nine Hells. But you technically are.
Wild. How'd you get this demi-plane set up?
Magic.
Wow, yeah. I would have guessed magic.
Now, do you wish to sign the contract so we can discuss our business here? This is just a contract for the business. You just have to agree that if you take anything or drink anything, you will pay for it when you leave, before you leave.
Okay.
You're safe if you don't imbibe in anything. The contract is useless, but still.
Okay. Can I pay with gold because my friends have all the soul coins?
I will accept that.
Perfect.
But that said, if you were looking for a full meal, I do charge soul coins for those.
That's fair.
So, your friends could pay it when they come back, but I will allow you to pay with gold for the simple things. And as soon as you sign it, it just...
But yeah, Salin is not gonna eat or drink anything. She's gonna read the contract very carefully.
Okay.
She's spent some time in the Feywild. She's not gonna partake of the fruit.
Okay. Yeah, so you sign the contract. And yeah, it just says, patrons must pay for everything consumed and all services used before they leave. And you sign it, and it just burns up in flames. And he's like, excellent! Come with me. And he kind of moves towards a door and opens it, and the door is... Currently, there's like just void space behind the door, and then the room kind of forms into a private chamber, just where pillows, cushions, and divans, and are just all across, and just like it's forming to the current needs. And he sits behind the desk and kind of pours a glass of wine and says, "Would you like a glass? You don't have to pay for this. This is just friendly wine."
Oh no, thanks.
And he goes, "So, about your friend who is dead. My condolences, of course."
Yeah. He did in fact know the risks. We all did. But yeah, it was a visceral reminder of them.
Yes. Well, have you thought about the contract that you could sign to bring him back?
Yeah, I have. I thought a lot about it.
And don't worry, we could keep it a secret from everybody. We could keep the secret from him so he doesn't know what you paid to bring him back.
Oh, well, that does make me feel a lot better.
That's that. You could say it's sort of a well, between the seller and the buyer. Confidentiality.
Yeah, I think Salem just kind of sitted on, like, wherever it is, kind of like kicking her legs and looking around. Can I ask one thing?
Of course.
What do you get out of this?
Well, I get the opportunity to explore these wastelands without being harassed by the demons and devils.
Oh. I mean, that's a pretty sweet deal.
It is a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
And also, that's about it. The ability to do my business without getting accosted by every demon and devil that are out there.
Yeah.
And having demons and devils employed in my services also kind of helps with that. So, you may have noticed some of them kind of wandering around the market, like, just like wandering around. You would have seen, like, duergar, hobgoblins, salamanders, succubi, and incubi, and other kind of just random creatures moving around. But there was a definite kind of heavy amount of incubus and succubus in this establishment specifically. So people looking to have kind of relations with succubuses and incubuses. And he's like, so...
Salen's feeling very vindicated right now.
Yeah. So...
I'm fancy. I know what this shit is. Well. Oh my god. PS headphones. You know, I was super ready to do anything to bring my friend back. And you know what? I'm gonna have to pass on the whole soul thing.
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah.
And from what I gather, there was already an attempt to bring him back, and it failed.
There was, yeah.
All right. Then the only step forward would be to bury your friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you know if there's a good spot for that? Here?
It's the Nine Hells, so no.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I can't promise that the body won't be changed,
I mean,
turned into anything, well, non-desirable.
like, been there, done that, destroyed the blob monster.
Blob monster?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there anything I can do for you then if you're not taking this deal? I can provide other services, but again, same price.
That's actually good to know. No, I mean, so if we're just gonna be traveling around, is there a way we can find this place again? Because this was not here last time we drove by.
I drive around randomly. I don't really have any set locations set up.
Oh, us too.
Well, then there you go.
Love it. Okay, I'm gonna go tell my traveling companions the bad news.
All right.
And then I'm gonna see if Mortis has any good shit on his body that I want to take with me. If that's all right.
Oh, sorry, I was miles away. What?
Oh, no problem. I'm gonna head back to hell now.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, she's just gonna head and try to find Krondor and Sephron.
All right, he follows you behind, and as you guys leave the room almost just disappears from existence. And he conjures the contract and just rips it up. All right. And you didn't have any of the services, so there was no payment required. All right. And he starts mingling amongst the other patrons inside the Infernal Rapture, and you kind of step out of the Infernal Rapture, and you feel that pop in your ears again.
Yeah.
You're back out in the Wandering Emporium, and you can see Kronder and Sephron kind of in the distance, dealing with that devil I described.
Yeah.
So, how did it go?
You know, it went pretty badly. He was definitely lying about that place not being a brothel, which is like a weird thing to lie about. You know?
I mean, sometimes. But actually, yes, in hell you would expect that to be sort of open.
Yeah, like I'm almost 80. I know what a brothel looks like.
80? Oh, you look
Yeah.
good for your age.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyways, so I'm just gonna make sure we don't forget anything important on Mortis's. Load him up to the
Hey,
truck.
does your friend have any money?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all had some gold on us, so yeah.
We might be able to exchange it for some soul coins.
Actually, would you mind
That's
if
an
I
idea.
spoke to him for a moment?
Who?
Oh,
The man you were talking with before about
Oh,
bringing our friend back.
yeah, not at all.
yeah, I'm still just gonna sit here and think about if the the transactions with the paper and the way my spell book works.
Yes, take your time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna think about it.
So, where did you leave him last?
Mortis or the Mahadi?
No, the person you were talking to.
Oh, he's just wandering around. I don't know where.
Did someone say my name? And he kind of disappears behind you guys.
That's a really neat and kind of unnerving trick.
Thank you.
Would you mind if I spoke with you in private for a
Of
moment?
course, follow me. And he steps into the Infernal Rapture.
Okay, so
Alright, so yeah, you feel the pop in your ears. He's like, first, before you enter, and he conjures the contract and repeats the same thing he told Salen. Essentially, stipulating that patrons must pay for everything consumed and all for services used before they leave.
Seems perfectly sensible.
And it burns up. He's like, so you want to speak privately? Follow me then.
Yes.
And he heads towards a room, opens a door, and the room conjures as he kind of pushes into it. And he sits down behind a desk. And it's the same kind of room layout, cushions and couches and other things. Fireplace, very exotic and almost kind of bizarre. And he kind of pours some red wine in a glass and offers you one. Would you like a glass?
That would depend on how much the glass would cost me.
Kind of smiles a little bit.
5 gold.
If this is the business arrangement, nothing. If it's something else, 1 soul coin.
I get the feeling it is a business arrangement.
Excellent. He pours you a glass and kind of pushes it over.
So, concerning my deceased companion.
Ah, the dwarf.
Yes, it would seem my Eladrin friend was not successful in the negotiations.
She turned the offer down.
Fair enough. Remind me the offer in full.
The offer in full is my lord Asmodeus will send one of his loyal priests here to cast a spell called True Resurrection. The price is the signee offering up their soul forever. At any point should you die after a certain time, 17th level, your death will be permanent with no chance to return from the grave. Your soul will then be made into a pit fiend in Asmodeus' service for eternity.
Well, I suppose I cannot blame my companion for her hesitance.
It's a
Perhaps
steep price.
lack of conviction, perhaps. But I will admit, though I have gone through something of an epiphany on seeing how my companions interact with my own visions for the future. I do have need of this paladin. He is entertaining, and more importantly, he is useful. After all, one who can wield the energies of the divine, quite useful when clashing against more hostile devilish forces. I'm sure you can appreciate that.
Yes, divine power down here could be most useful.
And even in the event of my passing after becoming a grand alchemist, in a strange way, I'm starting to like it here.
Interesting. It is a very comfy place once you get accustomed to it.
I found that true.
I myself am very comfortable down here.
Yes. And I figure so long as I have other missions afoot for certain someone, I figure if you have one foot in the puddle, why not put the other in? So I would not mind signing this particular document.
Snaps his fingers and it appears on the table in front of you with a quill and ink ready to go. Actually, no ink whatsoever.
She will sign it.
Alright, so as you sign your name, you feel like a little pinprick in your finger, and the ink signs in your blood, or the quill signs in your blood, and the contract burns up, and you feel like a cold chill run down your spine. And, alright, the payment has been done. I will call for some of my employees to bring the body. Where would be a nice place to do this ritual? I can make up a room in here. A chapel little room to make it nice and comfortable and suit the needs of what is going to be happening.
whatever will suit the ritual most while not drilling a hole in one's pockets.
Of course. And anything else?
That is all for now, but the day, I suppose, is young. It's rather hard to tell here. Perhaps
Yes.
I may require services later on. We will see.
Okay. And he stands up and kind of just bows. I think that concludes our business then. And he opens the door of this little room and gestures for you to step out.
He does.
Follows behind you, and you can see the room kind of disappear into a void, and he shuts the door. All right. You can go tell your friends that the ritual will be happening any minute then. I must prepare.
Fair enough.
And he kind of goes into a different door, opens it, and you can see that he's starting to, a chapel, and like little chapel area starts to form, just
She will return to her fellows.
and as you kind of step outside, Salen and Kroner, you can see Sephiroth step out, and you can see a bunch of like Duragar in like ceremonial, like, or not Duragar, that makes no sense. Fiends in like robes and masks carrying Mortis's body into the Emporium, and they go into the Infernal Rapture.
They certainly work fast, don't they?
We should probably make sure he doesn't wake up wanting to kick some fiend ass.
I think he'll be fine. And now we can have our companion back, our useful, muscular companion.
You know what? I'm just gonna buy the paper and the ink with this soul coin, and I'm gonna figure it out later.
Oh, sorry, I was busy elsewhere. I just got your message. Help! Okay. And he gives you just a stack of like 50 parchment, like 5 flasks of ink. That should probably be more than enough.
Great, thanks.
I don't know also how it works, so.
I don't know how that works.
Presume about it.
Okay. And yeah, you guys see that. You guys see the priests carrying Mortis' body into the Infernal Rapture.
Do you think they would be overly offended if we were to attend? I'm most curious to see what such a ritual might look like.
Oh, I fucking love rituals. Let's go watch.
There we go.
Alright.
I said we should go watch, and yeah, let's go watch.
Alright, so you guys.
Sorry, I was buying paper.
So you guys head into the Infernal Rapture. You all feel that pop in your ears as you transition. And Mahadi's right there with 3 contracts. Unfortunately, every time you come back in, you have to sign another one.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's the same one, you know, blah, blah, blah.
And, I mean, you'd have to cover all possible loopholes, I would imagine.
Of course. Anything you want service-wise. If you don't pay for it by the time you leave, something happens. All right, come with me, come with me, come with me. And he heads towards the door, and you can see the healers kind of putting Mortis on a stone slab, and they're all kind of standing around him and chanting. Just to make sure the deal you paid for is completed. And Mahadi kind of just steps through the door into the chapel. And the healers are just kind of standing there speaking, humming.
Little notebook out, and I'm like, make a note of all like the hums, all the little runes about what they're wearing.
They're basically chanting, it sounds like they're chanting, by Lord Asmodeus's might, we bring you back to the light. So you're definitely invoking The ritual is definitely invoking the Lord of the Nine Hells, the rule, like the king of all demons, or king of all devils, to bring back Mortis. And True Resurrection, I believe, takes 1 hour to complete. So you guys can look at a short rest while this is happening. But the ritual's happening. The priests are kind of moving around Mortis's body and like touching him on key points. They're kind of like sealing that massive wound on his chest where Haruman impaled him through the back. And they're just going around and around, healing him and closing these wounds. And it gets to the hour mark, and you guys feel the room kind of grow super cold. The lights all kind of, like all the torches kind of flicker a little bit and go out, like a wind rushes through here. And for a brief moment, you swear you can see this, like, shadowy form of a fiend standing over top of Mortis's body and putting his hands on Mortis's chest. And then when the lights come back on, the shadow is gone. And Mortis, you come back to life. And you guys just see Mortis laying there, his chest rising and falling. Cast True Resurrection, so you're back at full health. And because it's True Resurrection, there is no negative modifiers to being brought back to life. Just everything is kosher. And you guys see Mortis breathing, just...
Welcome back to the land of the living, so to speak.
What happened? I remember feeling gelatinous.
Little
It
bit,
is-
yeah.
It is a long story.
You got so fucking stabbed, dude.
You got just completely wrecked. Wasn't that long.
Well, apparently it's been restored, so
Ah,
Yeah, and we are in a neutral kind of zone where you can't fight or cast any spells.
was there any contracts signed?
there may have been, but
We should get out of here then.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, I understand.
if we have need of you, we will surely keep an eye out.
Likewise.
Yeah, this place is neat, but it does sort of remind me of why I went to go live in the woods in the first place.
Understandable.
Mm.
You think someone else could drive? I've got some transcribing to do.
Yeah, I mean,
I have some technical expertise. I could give it a shot.
I don't really have any spells left, so I might as well drive.
Well, if you want, you could spend the night here, get your rest.
No, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I mean, seems like a plush establishment, it seems.
Listen, we've already lost one soul between the four of us today.
Oh, a soul coin also.
Also a soul coin.
Yeah.
And a circlet of blasting. I think we should just leave.
Well, we also got 10 more soul coins for that
Yeah.
transaction.
Did you want me to hold on to them?
I think they're in good hands.
Okay.
He kind of, Mahadi kind of smiles a little bit. Ah, interesting. You seem to know how they work and who should be holding them.
It would seem so.
Okay, well this was stupid and cryptic.
Well, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, I think you know if you'll know who can carry them and who can't.
All right.
It all is based on how you live your life.
This is true.
No.
And he kind of just smiles. Well, I can't force you to stay. And he looks back at Mortis. Welcome back to the land of the living.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I sure you don't want an ale, Mortis, perhaps, to get your strength back up?
Not here.
We have an alchemist's jug that you made. If you want to hang out here, just say so. But we've got demon stuff to do.
Well, the alchemist jug does not necessarily exist anymore.
Great. Great.
I suppose I cannot argue with the will of the party. If you wish to leave, let us leave.
Let's go.
That's great.
All right.
Up we go, Mortis. Kind of helps her back on his feet.
Oh. Morris is just kind of groggy,
On the plus side, you should not suffer any lasting effects or no adverse effects for that spell. Generally, if it's another resurrection spell, you'd be less apt at doing things. But in this state, you are perfectly fine to get back to it.
Well, that's better than the dwarven priests could ever do. Alright, let's go.
All right. And
Mortis stumbles his way out the door, swigging his holy water.
okay. And
Salem will follow, just like taking like deep breaths.
okay. Mahadi kind of makes sure you all don't take anything or grab anything without paying for it. And he's like, well, where are you headed, by the way? Anywhere dangerous?
No, I don't think we actually decided. Either the demon zapper.
Salem is just gonna like put her hand on Sephron's mouth. Like, you know what? I am learning a lot of things about trust, and you know what? We actually have no idea where we're going, and I have never been angry before in my entire life, but I am beginning to get angry, so we are on our way out.
Fair enough. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
We will not. It will be bad.
All right.
It's been bad day after bad day after bad day.
Well, you are in the hells. So,
Kids got spunk.
And everyone in hell is just such a narc.
have a wonderful day, everyone.
Bye.
And you guys, as you all kind of leave the Infernal Rapture, you all feel that in your ears. Mortis hears it for the first time. And you all are standing in the kind of streets of this Emporium.
You got spunk, kid. I like it.
You know what? No one really appreciated that when I was growing up. It is very nice to hear. Thank you so much.
I'm
Can
just
we
gonna,
go?
yeah, I'm gonna start old man hobbling my way to the car.
And Lulu kind of like
Lulu,
flutters. Oh,
where
hello.
are we off to next?
Well,
Just like quietly chuckling.
well, there's two places that I realized when you were dead. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The spawning trees where demons manifest, or the demon zapper where demons are destroyed.
I'd love to go to the manifesting place. I bet there's lots of cool secrets there.
And once we pick a place, it generally will lead us on a path to the Bleeding Citadel. But if you guys at any point want to switch to go to the other path and try doing that one, we could. It's not like you're making an unchangeable decision with what path we take.
Great.
Fair enough.
And she points on the map to both the spawning trees and the demon zapper. So if you guys are looking at the map, the spawning trees are kind of in the lower right corner a little bit. Just a single tree. Kind of, you know what? I can't pull up Roll20 right now. And then she also points to kind of the middle left of the map, the Demon Zapper, which looks like a sort of three-pronged crown on the ground. You know what? Yeah, I'll pull up Roll20. So you can just ping the locations.
I'm just seeing a map of Ethereal on Roll20.
Oh yeah, I don't have that this map on Roll20.
El Toro, that's
You know what? Let's make this easy. When she touches the map, it's gonna I'll just say all the names kind of flare on the map and they pop up. To make life easy,
Oh,
And-
trick.
and I will share this in our Zoom chat.
Oh, perfect.
Actually, yeah, I'll do that. One moment, everyone. More. So she points to. Once I pull up my notes again. Yeah, she points to. If you guys look in the kind of bottom right corner, you'll see the spawning trees. They're kind of just a little bit above like a group of volcanoes. And then, so you guys are actually closest to that because you guys are kind of on you're on Haruman's Hill right now. Essentially, that's kind of wedged between Haruman's Hill and Bell's Forge. It's kind of where you guys are situated right now. And then across the River Styx, she gestures towards the Demon Zapper, which you can see it's kind of like the three-pronged thing on the ground, kind of near a black lake. So that's where we could start our journey and find the Bleeding Citadel and find Zariel's sword. One of those places.
Wait, the sword might be at one of those places,
Well,
or we need to pass through it.
Well, it's sort of a path to get to the Bleeding Citadel. Each of the paths will take us there. It's more of a just which one do you guys want to take? I don't exactly remember which one might be safer.
The way I sort of see it is, we either face newly born or reborn demons, or we risk the possibility of facing those demons that are so incomprehensibly bad that even hell itself sends them to a place to be eradicated. So my vote would be for the spawning tree, personally.
My vote's also for the spawning tree, but for different reasons.
My vote is for the spawning tree because it sounds really gross, and I kind of feel like I have to see it.
Okay.
My reasons align with that a lot.
Oh,
I really want to see it.
I was gonna say the bug zapper might be a better spot because it'll give us a defensive weapon, but alright, spawning trees it is.
Okay.
I've seen so many
Thank you.
horrible trees here. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious to collect if there's any, demonic amniotic fluid. May it prove to be an interesting compound to experiment with.
You
Well, we
know
should
that's
definitely
gross,
dig
right?
thicker. It's gross. Yes, thank you, Mortis.
I should remind you, I am an alchemist. Literally, back home, I had a drawer full of bat guano. I am used to gross.
I mean, I think, in
You know what, kid?
poop
You
is a
know
lot
what?
less gross than demon poo.
It's just the whole wizard magic thing. You're never gonna be able to understand it.
It is what it is, but to the spawning tree, I suspect.
I'm gonna start transcribing now.
Are
Mortis?
you driving, Saffron?
I can drive, certainly.
Morris is gonna take the harpoon again.
Okay. Alright, Saffron, you get in the driver's seat. You get accustomed to it pretty easily. Mortis back in the harpoon seat. Salen and Kroner in the passenger's kind of compartment. And yeah, Kroner, you can easily start transcribing your spells and stuff.
I'm like snooping the transcription pretty hard.
Okay.
Like I don't understand any of it, but I'm just like,
I will be like happily babbling to you about what I'm doing, what it means. Like,
Salem
Kroner's
is like,
thrilled.
fidgeting and is like trying to be polite, but it's just like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I can read, I just choose not to.
Alright. So you start driving, correct? Okay. You start driving along. It starts going down like that curved path along the River Styx. You're still passing trees that people are impaled on. They're still screaming, "Just take us off! Take us off!" You just drive past them.
Just keep driving.
And
Man,
you start going down, and you start curving past Bell's Forge, driving across the open wasteland towards the spawning trees. And judging by the map, you pass Fort Knucklebone. And Lulu's like, it'll probably take us about another hour to get there or so, maybe more. And as
Do
you,
we want to rest at Fort Knucklebone?
That could be good.
do you want to?
I can finish transcribing.
Do you want to just take a breeze there, or do you want to go to sleep there?
No, I'm thinking like a whole night.
and as you're just still driving along, you haven't exactly passed Fort Knucklebone yet. Maybe it's like a mile ahead, up a bit. And as you're driving along, you stumble across. You're kind of driving over uneven ground, like a bunch of there's like cracks in the ground now. So I need a dexterity check by the driver using the vehicle's stats, which everyone should have the vehicle stats in their character sheet under extras. So I need Sephron to make a dexterity check using the Tormentor's stats.
Okay. That +2. Okay. That is 12.
12. It looks like it's uneven ground. It's going to be hard to drive over, but you navigate perfectly across this uneven ground. And you guys can see, and then again, a little bit of time passes, and you guys can see Fort Knucklebone approaching maybe a couple 100 meters away.
You want to... honestly, considering Mortis' rather rough day, perhaps we should take a little rest.
Yeah, I mean, I basically used all of my spells.
Oh, then we should definitely. Somehow I don't think we should assault the spawning tree at half strength.
Right.
So,
So you
we
turn
will
towards.
Fort Knucklebone.
Alright, you pull towards Fort Knucklebone, and the red cast can see you guys approaching, and they go, and one just throws a glob of dung at the vehicle, and just splatters across the front of the vehicle, and just, and he laughs like, and then they open the gates, and you can just casually drive back into Fort Knucklebone.
Oh, we're back.
And
It went down.
Mad Maggie kind of comes in over 10. Oh, wonderful! You're all alive! Oh my god, you're all alive!
Yeah.
Yeah, but surprised too, funnily enough.
Did you come across Raga Draga?
You know what? We did not have time to tell him he was a wiener.
Oh.
We just...
We did run over him pretty
brutalized
bad,
him.
so.
Yeah.
Oh, is he dead?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
True.
That's fun.
Yeah. And we took his stuff and
Oh.
sold it. We pawned it off, essentially.
Great. What are you guys doing back here? How'd it go at Haruman's Hill?
Bad.
Not great.
Ow.
Yeah.
Well, you all look like crap, so, I do have a spare tent you guys can use. You won't have any privacy with sleeping, but, I mean, you can all share a tent over there.
Mortis like walks over to the tent and all you see is the shape of a dwarf.
Well,
It is
okay.
privacy, but I can set up an alarm spell.
Oh, no need. It's fine. Everyone here will not disturb you. If they do, I will burn them alive.
Fair.
Well, melt them.
Wait, does that mean
Even better.
one of your little red caps threw dung at our cart? Can you fuck him up?
Oh, okay. She points a finger at the red cap, and it just explodes in a just massive just meat and entrails. Just
Good.
okay.
To see that, thank you.
That's the only one you get.
No, that was
Thank
enough.
you.
Okay, good night.
The name.
And she wanders back to her tent.
Once we're like all in the tent, I'll be like, oh yeah. Also, I can cast and like create a little hut for us. You know, when we're like
Tiny
Oh,
hut,
on the actual
nice.
road.
Oh,
that's very useful.
Yeah.
so you just conjure a little lean-to, or how does that work?
It's mostly just like a sphere.
Okay.
But the original wizard Leomund, they call it his little hut. So now the spell's been passed down as Leomund's tiny hut.
But isn't that cute?
A tiny hut.
But it'll be big enough for all of us.
Does it offer any protection?
It offers so much protection, nobody can pass through it.
Oh. That is actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe next time we won't have to rest near all these little turds.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Turds.
Well, just in case, for funsies, because I never get to use this spell, Saffron will ritual cast Alarm across
Okay.
the front of the tent.
Sure.
So just in case one of those little red caps wants to draw mustaches on us, we'll know.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
I'd look great with a mustache.
I mean, no one would argue, but it's the principle of the thing, you know.
Alright, so you can finish casting Alarm across the tent. Anyone doing anything else before you conk out?
I'm just gonna finish transcribing my spell.
Alright, you can easily do that. And Mortis is already passed out and snoring, so...
Spells. Bad spells. This is so exciting.
And anything, Salen doing anything before going to sleep?
Probably meditating and altering my spells a scooch.
Okay.
And also switching the season to summer.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, Stefan,
Yeah.
you finish your alarm spell, it's all set up.
Yeah, and Saffron will just set. This is how I picture her elixirs that she mixes stuff together before bedtime, lets it kind of percolate overnight.
Yeah.
She'll be kind of redoing her elixirs, her
Alright.
elixirs.
That's okay. When do you get 2 elixirs as an artificer? Because I can only do 1 when I play mine.
Let's see. No, you trade. Fusion. Elixir.
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out later. So, as you all kind of go to sleep, Salen, you trance. Everybody else sleeps. And everyone sleeps relatively good, soundly. But at the end of the long rest, I need Mortis and Salen to make wisdom saving throws, as you feel as that pervasive evil again. And then when you wake up, like this, the influence of the evil just at you. I need 2 wisdom saving throws. One wisdom saving throw each, please.
Cool. I got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, that's a success. You kind of shrug off the evil.
19.
19, you also shrug off that evil presence, and you all wake up perfectly sound.
Oh, okay. Looks like. Yeah, whenever we're done sleeping, Saffron is kind of messing around with her alchemist tools. Okay, good ones today. This elixir is one of resilience, so it makes you a little harder to hit. Out of game, it gives a +1 to your AC, and the other one is boldness. So this one makes you a little bit not fast in combat, but you act sooner in combat. So the other one is proportional boldness. The trigger can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to every attack roll. Oh, excuse me. I misread that. It can actually it makes you hit a little bit harder. So you can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to every attack roll and saving throw they make for the next minute.
Nice.
So even just like preemptively, she's going to give the boldness elixir to Mortis. I think that will help you quite a bit.
All right. So you all kind of wake up, and there's a plate of kind of just assorted kind of sausages and meat outside your tent. The meat definitely looks like it's from fiends, not from any animals or anything. Fiendish meat.
That's an adventure.
Doesn't taste too great.
Mortis,
Good berries.
You know, I was just about to offer some good berries. Would you like one, Frondor?
Oh my god, please, that smells so gross.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have the stomach for fiends right now. I think I would enjoy it if I was a wolf, but not now. No, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll cast good berry.
Okay.
Nice and tangy,
Take one if you want.
thank you.
Or
but a nice kick wit.
yeah, Mortis is beside Severin digging into the meat. He's like, it's not that bad. I've had worse on the march. At least there is meat.
You guys doing
Not
any?
much of a meat eater myself.
And after you guys kind of eat your breakfast and whatnot, anything else before setting out?
Nope.
I think we're all nice and rested up.
Okay.
Alright, back to the car.
It's rare. It's been cleaned.
oh,
The poop that the madcap threw at it's been wiped clean. All like the dirt and entrails from like Raga Draga and his crew wiped clean off. And it's just sitting there pristine and clean.
Great. I'm gonna get back into the driver's seat.
Okay, and at this point, yeah, the soul coin would have
Yeah, I'm
ran
gonna hold
out.
my hand out to Sephard and be like, I need a soul coin.
Fair enough. There you go.
Alright.
Thank you.
You pop the soul coin in, you hear the engine roar to life again, the sound of a soul being destroyed, as it lets out a blood-curdling scream, just and then the engine roars to life.
doesn't get better.
Doesn't get worse.
Reminds me of my second cousin before they slit his throat.
Why do I get the feeling those are related?
I have so many questions.
Mortis just climbs on board into the harpoon station.
Okay.
And on that note,
Lulu kind of flutters into the driver's seat to kind of help Kronder navigate. And
alright, as soon as everybody's like in the car, I'm gonna just floor it.
all right, out the gates. The gates rise as you guys floor it out. You do a big old dirty drift as you change directions, kind of Tokyo Drift style.
Yeah, it's very
Totally
sexy.
would. He totally would.
And
Yeah.
you live your life a quarter mile at a time, and you start driving. What a bunch of awful movies. Sorry. And you start driving towards the spawning trees. It'll take you about an hour to get there from here.
But we're going very fast and very furious. So.
That's right. And as you guys are driving, after about the half-hour mark, dust is also just getting kicked up again, and that clean kind of cleaning the vehicle had is it's just immediately ruined as it gets covered in just dirt and dust. And as you're driving for the first half hour, nothing happens, nothing of interest, just boring, hellish wasteland, completely empty, devoid of anything. There's kind of like peals of red, like thunder in the sky, and like red lightning kind of arcs across the sky, as it always does in hell. And you're all just chilling, and then the next half hour comes up, and nothing else happens. A very uneventful hour drive, and as you guys go, I will pull up something. Tree-like growths kind of cluster along the shoreline of a lake of bubbling black goo. Each growth is formed from the same ichor as the lake and has writhing, membranous sacs budding from its limbs. 5 bearded fiends heap coals around the trunk of one of the trees. As they hurl more coals onto the pyre, 4 of their number cruelly poke and tease the 5th member of the group.
That's not very nice.
And that's what you guys see.
That was really.
I'm gonna do like a very iconic like screech to a halt while like so that like the car is facing like the doors are facing the devils, you know, like like a
Okay.
Mortis is gonna give us a. Does anyone smell something that reminds you of breakfast?
And
fucking revolting old man.
like not far away, these bearded devils that you fought before. 4 of them are kind of messing around with the 5th, like poking him and pushing him. The one they're teasing is like has like terrible scars across his face, and you see a bunch of like weird-looking creatures kind of scurrying at his feet that he's like trying to protect. They look like chickens, but they're not chickens. They're fiendish-looking chickens. They kind of got like long little tongues. I'll post a picture in our Zoom chat. Oh, I totally posted the map privately to Kirkland. That's fun. So, give me a moment, everyone.
That explains why I didn't see anything.
There's the map.
I was having an issue.
There's the map. And here is the chicken. And so it's it's got like weird like wings that kind of look like they're made of flesh that kind of split down the middle. 2 chicken-like legs, no eyes, kind of like a xenomorph-looking head from Alien, and a long coiled tongue. And there's like a bunch of these chickens, and this bearded devil is kind of protecting him as the other ones are like poking him and teasing him.
When a chicken is really bad, that's what happens to it when it dies.
And they're kind of just like teasing him and poking him. They're going, kill it. And does anyone know Infernal? Or Abyssal, rather?
I know Infernal.
It'd be Infernal, sorry, yeah. Okay, those of you that understand Infernal, you can hear that the ones that are teasing him are saying, Crickendolt, kill them, or we're gonna kill you. Kill the chickens. And he's like, no, they're my friends. And they're like poking him and trying to like, threatening to kill him, essentially.
I'm just gonna yell at Infernal and be like, hey, what's going on here?
They turn to you and, well, we're gonna kill him, because he's not killing the chickens.
This isn't the demon zapper, though.
No, we went to the spawning tree.
Yeah, it's not the demon sapper. It's little strange that they're killing things at the spawning tree, I suppose.
What do you know of it? Shut up! We'll kill you next!
Oh, you don't want to say that.
Mortis is going to look left, look right, and fire a harpoon at one of their things.
Okay, make me an attack roll with the harpoon on you can find under your extras. I think it's a plus 11 to hit.
We're having such a good conversation there.
Just
We'll kill you.
That is 16 to hit.
16 to hit. Okay, give me 1 second.
I mean, I guess we're fighting them now.
Suppose.
Okay.
Oh, Meg. What are you doing?
Okay, so, what was that to hit?
16.
Alright, so they're kind of like laughing at their threat, and the one that's laughing just gets impaled by this harpoon. Roll damage.
5, 6, 7 damage.
7 damage. Impales him in the chest, and he's like, ugh! And he looks down at this like spear that's just like harpoon that's like wedged into his belly. Everyone needs to roll initiative.
Yep.
Yeah.
Over.
Damn it. I got a 4.
16.
Okay.
That is 5.
I'll ask you all in a minute. I just gotta do the initiative for everyone. Oof.
I just used these demon chickens somewhere else with a friend. And now they have appeared again.
Those of you that can cast familiars, as soon as you see these abyssal chickens, you learn the ability to bring up one of these as a familiar. An abyssal chicken, yeah.
I'm gonna get myself an abyssal chicken.
Hell yeah.
All right, Mortis, what'd you get for initiative?
5.
Okay. Salen.
I got a boop boop. Oh my god. Yeah, I got 14.
14.
Yeah.
Okay, and Sephron.
I got a 16.
16. Okay, so one of these ones that didn't get impaled starts and is going to see the vehicle that you're all in it, and it's just gonna run over the vehicle, climb on top of it, and start stabbing at Cronder in the driver's seat.
Oh, great.
But you do have 3/4 cover because you're in the driver's seat, so your AC is increased by. Just a double check here. You have +5 to your AC, Cronder, while you're in the driver's seat.
Okay.
And he's gonna run up and just start stabbing at you with his glaive. So the glaive to hit you, Cronder, is a 14 to hit.
It does not hit.
So just right into the protection, like shielding, just tink. And then the beard is gonna come down and coil to try to get you for a 15 to hit.
Also misses.
So the beard tentacles kind of, and it's like, oh, and an infernal says, "Get the fuck out of the vehicle." Oh, and that'll bring it to Sephron.
Okay. Oh man.
You are in the back of the vehicle.
Alright. She will.
So I'll say everyone in the vehicle has 3/4 cover.
That's
Okay.
fun.
She will.
Wait, Cronder, did I ask what you got for initiative?
It was a 4.
4. Yeah, I didn't add you to the initiative order.
You rude bitch.
And I didn't even ask you. Okay, cool. Sorry, Sephron, what are you doing?
She is going to cast Acid Arrow
Okay.
at the Reaper Devil that's attacking Cronder.
Okay. Is that an attack roll or a save?
It is an attack roll this time.
Okay.
+8.
Megan, I don't actually want to go out there.
Natural freaking 20.
Nice. So max damage plus roll damage.
Okay, so 16. That's 44. That is 16. So that's 28 points of acid damage.
Oof. Nice. Just slams into its sides, bubbling arrow of acid. And It does not look. It's basically reduced to under half. So just.
Great. All right.
And it's like holding its side with this arrow of acid, just.
All right, and then it'll take 2d4 acid damage at the end of its next turn.
Correct.
But for now, for the bonus action, she will command Schwartz to do a force strike on the same bearded devil.
Okay.
That is an 18 to hit.
Oh, 18 for sure hits. Just Schwartz flies over and just.
For 6 points of force damage.
Nice. That one is looking right shit.
Okay, that'll be your turn.
Okay, that'll bring to Salin.
Sweet. Yeah, Salen's just gonna like hang out of this diabolical dune buggy,
Yeah.
road warrior style, and just huck a plant seed at the devil that's just getting wailed on and cast Moonbeam.
Okay. And that is a Dex con save, right? Con save.
Yeah, sick level.
With advantage, because of magic resistance, so it gets advantage. Ugh. It's a 13.
That is not enough.
So you just huck this seed through the air and then just through the infernal skies, just a moonbeam just.
Yeah. So that's just gonna be 8 points of radiant damage.
8?
8.
Okay. Just it's like screaming on the hood of the vehicle as the moonbeam is just roasting it. Anything else?
No, I'm gonna wait. See how bad this gets.
Okay. Gonna go to the one who's been getting teased, and seeing that you guys are here to help him, he takes his glaive and he just turns to the right and stabs one of the ones in the chest that was teasing him for a 14 to hit, which hits. So just right in the stomach. Just he's like, "Don't tease me!" and stabs it in the stomach, and it takes 7 slashing damage, which is the one that got impaled by Mortis's halberd. So that one gets stabbed by the glaive, and then it needs to make a Constitution saving throw. That succeeds, and then his beard is gonna fly out and attack the one that was teasing him for a natural 1. So the other one just kind of turns to him and just ducks, and that'll bring it to the one that was just attacked by the bully with a harpoon sticking out of his chest. He's going to turn to the one he was teasing and attack the one he was teasing. For a 14 to hit with the glaive, which unfortunately does hit the one getting bullied, for 12 slashing damage. He's like, ugh, ow! And succeeds in the con save, so none of that weird infernal bleeding that you guys have dealt with before from these glaives. And the beard is going to go out and whoosh, for a 9 to hit, so he also ducks the beard, bringing it to one of the others, who is going to run up onto the infernal machine where Mortis is sat and are stabbing at Mortis. So Mortis, while you're in that spot, you currently have +5 to your AC. So I'm rolling it. Oh no, that's a 7 to hit. So, tink! Off the shielding of the vehicle, and its tentacles are going to come in to try to grab you. No, that does not hit either. Just and that'll bring us to Mortis.
Mortis has at this point reloaded the harpoon gun.
Yep.
And he's going to take aim at a second one that has not been injured yet and fire.
All right.
12 plus.
I believe it's a +11.
7.
Oh, +7. So 19 definitely hits.
Yes. 19.
So the one that's kind of like on the vehicle gets just immediately impaled through the stomach with a spear.
damage.
11 damage. Nice. Just it gets impaled through the belly with a spear and spits up a bunch of like green blood. Anything else, Mortis?
No, that's it for now.
All right, Crone.
Reload the,
All right,
the harpoon gun again.
Cronder in the driver's seat.
Alright. I'm just gonna like reach to the side of me to pick up my staff
Okay.
and like ding the crystal off of the side of the car and cast Toll the Dead on one of the ones that have been hurt.
Okay. Are you looking at the one that's kind of on your vehicle, like in your space?
Is he the one that's got moonlight on him?
Yes.
Then not that one. I know that one's just gonna die soon enough.
So the one that's on Mortis's then?
Yeah.
Okay. So it needs to make a wisdom saving throw with advantage because of magic resistance. Oh, that is a 8.
Haha.
So that would be the D12s.
It's 14 points of
Oof.
necrotic.
Nice. It like clutches its head, and you can see like blood like trickling out of its ears, and it is also looking pretty sore. Anything else?
That'll be my turn.
Alrighty. The one that is perfectly healthy, has not been hurt yet, is also going to run towards the vehicle and kind of clamber around to where Salen is and start stabbing at Salen. And Salen, where you are, +5 to your AC.
Okay, cool.
That is a 16 to hit.
I'd have a 19 AC.
Okay, so the glaive tink, and its beard, its tentacles are going to reach out at you, and that is a 18 to hit.
Love this car. No.
Yeah, so it's like, get out of the vehicle. And that'll bring us to the top of the turn order with the one that is currently getting moonbeamed. So it needs to make a con save again.
That's correct. 15.
15 advantage.
Mhm.
7.
Cool. Oh, that is gonna be. That's not that great. We did get 1 9, so that's gonna be 13 points.
13. It screams as the moonbeam incinerates it.
Haha.
And it is out of the initiative order, so that'll immediately go to Sephron.
Okay, she is going to, she considers going for the acid, and she kind of goes, oh, they don't have to be easy, so she will actually, take out her light crossbow. She will load one of the magical crossbow bolts she got,
Nice.
and she will take aim at the demon that is harassing Mortis.
Okay, just so you know, once the magical crossbow bolt is used, it loses its magic properties.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you're gonna look over at the one at Mortis and just make an attack roll.
As an 18 to hit.
18 definitely hits.
Okay. That is 6 points of magical piercing damage.
Okay, crossbow like kind of slams into its back and it's like.
And bonus action, Force Strike.
Okay, Schwartz flies over.
As a 21 to hit.
21 definitely hits. It's reeling from this crossbow bolt that hit it in the spine, and then Schwartz flies over and just.
That is 3 points of force damage.
Okay. That one is looking pretty bad.
And that's her turn.
Alright, that'll bring it to Salen.
Sweet, yeah. So if I'm able to move the moonbeam to the bully devil.
The one.
Any of them little chickies. I can move it.
So you're moving towards the one that's where Mortis is, the one that's attacking him, the one that's trying to attack you, or the one that is.
Yeah, no,
Mortis.
I'm just going to
You.
the one. I'll deal with the one that's attacking me. I'll move it to that guy.
Okay. Go for it.
All right. So yeah, that's another con save.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Boop, 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 boop.
Told
Math.
me to roll for him. He rolled a 1.
That is a what gets advantage on that?
Yeah.
So 15 plus 4,
Dex
19.
saves, so half damage.
Yes.
That is. I rolled really low. That's gonna be 3 points of damage, halved.
So 1. Okay.
1 point of damage.
Just gonna laugh. Just. Anything else, Salem?
No.
Okay. The demon getting bullied.
That's my action.
Okay. No bonus actions or anything?
No.
Okay. The devil getting bullied is also going to go for the stab to the one that's been bullying him again with the glaive. That's only a 10 to hit. That one kind of parries the glaive. Then he's going to go with the beard attack for a natural 20
Haha.
on the beard attack. So 13 piercing damage to that one. And you would remember that those tentacles are very poisonous. But the demon, the devil rather, shrugs off the poison, almost like they're immune to poison. And that'll bring it to the one he just attacked, who's going to retaliate by stabbing him for a 13, so it stabs into him. He's like, ah! For 7 slashing damage. And he needs to make a con save. That succeeds, and then the beard is going to come flying at him as well for a dirty 20 to hit, which hits for 9 piercing damage. And also shrugs off the poison. He's like, ah, you guys are helping a lot, thank you. And Infernal, anyone who can understand that. That'll bring us to the one that is currently above Salen, who is going to stab with the glaive at Salen for a, nope, it's a 15 to hit. And then the beard is going to come down for a 23 to hit.
That will unfortunately.
So the beard tendrils out and slams into you. You take 9 piercing damage.
Okay.
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. And is Moonbeam concentration?
It is.
So I need
Con save for the poison.
yeah. So con save for the poison.
Ooh, no, that's a 2.
A 2. You're poisoned for 1 minute. While poisoned in this way, you cannot regain hit points. And you can repeat that saving throw at the end of your turns. And I also need the concentration check. DC would be 10.
Cool. I got a 14 on that.
So Moonbeam is still up.
And I just, what was that, 9 damage?
Yes, 9 piercing damage, and you are currently poisoned for a minute. While poisoned this way, you cannot regain hit points, but at the end of your turns, you can remake the saving throw, ending the effect on a success. And that'll bring it to Mortis.
He needs to make a con save for that move.
Oh, that's right.
Starting his turn in it.
That's right. That's a 12.
Failed. That is going to be 12 points of radiant.
Okay. Also not looking great.
Haha.
Alrighty, yeah, that'll bring it to Mortis. There's one directly in front of you. And yeah.
I guess we'll start with that one then.
Okay.
Fire off harpoon at it.
Go for it.
That is plus 7 is 26.
Definitely hits. It's just like on this vehicle, there's one already in his belly, then another one just into its like sternum.
That's 8 damage.
How much?
8.
Nice. This one is looking real bad.
And since I didn't realize, I do have a second attack, so he's gonna reload again and fire again.
Okay, go for it.
That is 25.
Definitely hits. Just getting impaled with like these harpoons. Currently has 3 impaled into it.
11 damage.
Ugh. That one, you like kind of shoot the harpoon and it goes into like its throat and it just falls off the back of the vehicle dead.
Ooh.
Anything else, Mortis? Action. bonus
gonna
action.
spin around looking for more demons.
You can
Enemy
see-
demons.
You can see the one that's getting bullied. He's currently fighting one, and then there's the one that is on Salen's compartment.
All right. That's the end of my turn.
That'll bring it to Kronder.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of like point towards the one that's like bullying.
Okay.
And like my hand kind of like coalesces in like this weird like mist, and then like a skeletal hand kind of drifts over from where my hand was, and I'm gonna cast Chill Touch.
Yeah, you are.
Nice.
It's 26 to hit.
26 definitely hits. The skeletal hand just kind of flies over and does what it does.
It is 10 points of necrotic damage.
Oof. Okay. It kind of drops to his knees from just the force of that chill touch. Just
And then the hand just kind of like grips onto it real tight, and it can't regain hit points until the end of my next turn.
Heck yeah. Anything else, Kronder?
No, that's it.
All right, that'll bring it back to the top with Sephrin.
Okay.
The remaining ones that aren't bullying look real bad, and the one that's getting bullied also doesn't look too great.
Okay. So I would say you probably can't see the one that's harassing Salen very well.
No, you could. You guys are kind of like in the same compartment area.
Okay.
He's getting zip zapped.
Well, she also thinks, well, maybe having an ally alive is better than having them dead. So she will turn the crossbow onto the devil that's in conflict with the scarred bearded devil.
Okay.
So she'll fire a crossbow bolt off of there.
The one getting the one bullying the one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Make an attack roll. Just
That is a 19 to hit.
19 definitely hits.
Okay.
This is the one that's on its knees. That got dropped to its knees by the chill touch.
Nice. That is 8 points of magical piercing.
All right, so it drops to its knees, and as it drops to the knees, you crossbow bolt goes sailing through the air and just right between the eyes, and it just falls backwards dead. Yeah, 3 hit points.
Nice. And then I guess as a bonus action, because why not, she will kind of nudge Schwartz and have him do a force strike on the bearded devil that is assaulting Salen.
Okay, go for it.
There's another 21 to hit.
Definitely hits. Just
Oh my god. Okay. 6 points of force damage.
6 points of force damage. Alrighty. Schwartz kind of floats over. Anything else?
That's her turn.
That'll bring it to Salen.
Sweet. How close is the one that's bugging me? How close is that guy?
5 feet, right on your compartment.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to do a little thorn whip at this guy.
Go for it.
Where do my d20s go? Oh, nice. That is going to be 18 plus.
Definitely hits.
Nice.
So just
That is 2d6 because 5th level. Sweet. This is going to be 8 points of piercing damage.
okay. And it gets kind of pulled into the compartment with you.
Yeah, Sailor's just like staring at it, kind of like pulling up on the thorn whip.
Yeah, it's like, and anything else?
No.
Okay. That'll bring it to the one who's getting bullied. He's gonna run up and just stab this guy from behind. Don't bully me! For a 17 to hit with the glaive, which definitely hits. For 8 slashing damage, so he just impales this thing through the back. And then he's gonna... Oh, he needs to make a con save. That's a success, and then his beard is gonna like try to like smack it from behind. For a natural 20. And the beard tentacles just kind of like wrap around the other bearded devil's face, and they just slowly kind of push in through the eyeballs, and the one that was pestering you falls to the ground dead, and the one getting bullied just kind of sits down on the ground, and that is the end of combat. And then Infernal, the one that was getting bullied, just, oh, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you for saving my chickens. They're my friends. And he opens up a sack on his side, and you see an abyssal chicken in there, kind of chirping happily. This is Earwax.
Nice.
Great name.
Earwax.
So Lulu, what's next? We're here.
Yes.
I want to feed Earwax.
He kind of like gets up, and his tongue kind of curls out at it and grabs it and pulls it into his bag. And he kind of just looks around, and the bearded devil like, kind of just smiles at you all, and Infernal says, "My name is Crickendolt. Why are you guys here?"
I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, we're just sort of touring around these plains.
We were pointed here to our Hollyphant friend, apparently, to recover a lost possession of sorts.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're looking for help, is there like a specific place you're looking for?
We're hoping to get across this spawning forest into the citadel.
Oh, the Bleeding Citadel.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Well, I don't know where it is, but there is a powerful wizard who visits Avernus from other planes, and he knows the location. His name is Mordenkainen.
Oh, I've heard of him.
The Mordenkainen.
Oh.
And he.
I have no idea who this
Salem
is.
has no idea who that is, though.
Do you guys have a map? Kroner would also know.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, and he points a finger on the map to a location called the Tower of Erm. And on your guys' map, you will see the Tower of Erm kind of in the middle of a lake.
Hunter, do you need like a minute?
I'm just really excited.
So on your map, where he points is across the River Styx, near the Sundered Chains, and in the middle of this kind of lake, just below the Hell Wasp Nest, and near the Demon Zapper, the Tower of Erm, in the middle of a lake made from the River Styx. That's where you'd be looking to go.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, you guys are at the spawning trees.
Oh, there's it. Oh, okay.
That's where you're looking to go.
So, we need to get the river then. Get across the river.
Yeah. He looks at your vehicle. That might be able to. You could try. Or you can look for a ferry across or something.
Maybe Megster has an upgrade.
Yeah,
We
maybe.
could always just kill someone, take a boat.
I mean, didn't work great first time we tried that.
That is
But,
actually
you
that's a
know.
very good point.
Oh,
Feel good about our odds.
also, feel free to take whatever is on their bodies. They're dickheads.
Will
We
do.
figured as much.
I gathered that, yeah.
I'll frisk. I'll do some frisking.
Okay.
This is already ankle deep in one pocket.
Okay,
I
so
feel like Salem just wants to hang out with these kids.
on each of these 4 bearded devils, they each carry 1 soul coin. So that's 4 soul coins total. And you also find 3 vials of demon ichor,
Nice.
which you can use to basically rev up the engines and make the thing go super fast, among other things.
Fluid gel.
Well, or do the basilisk lizard thing and just go across the water.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, well,
Like skipping rocks.
that was fun. And yeah, you guys just see lakes of so you get an idea of how big this area is. Just lakes of demonic ichor, malformed trees grow from the ichor, laden in fleshy sacks. And you kind of look open, you see one of these sacks kind of flop to the ground and wetly break open. And when they wetly break open, one of those like abyssal chickens pops out and just kind of runs around.
Nice.
Oh.
I'm gonna write it down.
You know, this has been the least horrifying place that we've been so far.
I like it here.
I
too.
And he also says in Infernal, because this guy cannot speak any other language in Infernal or telepathy in Infernal. So it is Infernal. I like it here.
Salen's probably speaking in Infernal.
Same.
It's like a little like textbooky.
Oh, but not quite conversational.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Well-
you probably mostly end this in a couple like choice swear words.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to conjugate the in this layer. That's more of a central layers of hell conjugation.
And yeah,
Say hello to these chickens.
they're great. They're my friends. And yeah, and like I said, anyone who knows Find Familiar can instead conjure an abyssal chicken instead of a raven if you choose to. Now, because you've seen an abyssal chicken.
Do it.
I'm
This is
so
awesome.
excited.
Yeah, there's the chickens, and we might get to meet the modern Canaan.
A wizard tower.
Okay, well, best of travels to you all. I'm gonna go back to my hut and feed earwax and hopefully, well, thank you for killing those guys.
Yeah, anytime,
no
buddy.
problem.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah.
You know what?
Be
Here.
blessed.
Here. And he hands you an extra soul coin. He hands one of his.
Thanks. I'll snatch
So
it.
much.
So that's 5 total soul coins and 3 vials of demon ichor. And he goes, well. And he puts Erax back in the sack and turns around and walks back towards a little hut kind of on the riverside.
Huh.
And then closes the door and goes inside.
Hey, Pheasant Bob Devils.
He was fun.
Yeah,
I mean, hard to hate a guy who's just living his life.
yeah, just tending to his chickens, it seems. I wonder how they taste if you fry them up in, bread them up, put them in a
Maybe.
fryer.
That might have been what y'all had for breakfast. So
This is true.
Breaded and fried with 11 herbs and spices. I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
good luck finding 5 herbs down here.
Well, you never know.
Oh, I've been looking.
Well, I mean, can't you you are kind of attuned with nature? Can't you grow things down here if you wish?
Yeah, I'm honestly not great at growing plants. The kind of druid stuff that druids like me focus on is more about the bestial nature, circle of life, tooth and claw fighting style.
Nice.
Fair enough. Remember that for the future.
I'm so excited to go to this tower.
Yeah, in Candlekeep, that wizard in particular is very well known.
Okay. So,
If you guys want to cross the river, oh, sorry, Croner, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I can fly 2 of us across the river.
That's not bad.
But that's still a long way to go on foot.
Yeah.
There's a bridge, though.
Oh, there's a bridge.
Oh, there's a bridge.
Yeah, and I think there is. Let me double check something and make sure I'm giving you guys the right information. You wouldn't make it
I was
across.
in fact thinking of that, just like
Just
full
gun
speed.
it.
You could certainly try. But yeah, if you guys can certainly try. You guys can try. But it would be bad if that did not go well. What am I looking for here? 1 second. Here we go.
TPK'd by a river.
TPK doing 6 stunts.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're not playing Ultima where you can get TPK'd by the floor.
Never mind. There isn't a bridge. But she'll actually say, if all else fails, you can probably find a ferry and get like a ferry across, like a little boat. But if you want to try jumping Haruman's Hill, okay.
Probably.
I'd
via
rather
two-
find a ferry myself.
Yeah, this seems to be a little easier, and we are slightly richer in soul points now.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say maybe jumping could be a plan, like H.
Plan H sounds
Yeah.
good. So do we think going to one of these watchtowers is like our best bet of finding a ferry?
Oh, the 6 watchtowers.
Possibly. Or they may be full of the demons that we were, fighting the last time we got on a boat on the River Styx.
That just means more soul coins.
And now that we're down here, people just kind of seem sort of ignoring us. You know, like we're not part of the fallen city. We're not the new fresh thing. We're just
Yeah.
specks.
Yeah. Just a bunch of schmucks trying to make a living, I guess, down here.
Yeah. That's what we should probably tell people.
Yeah,
And I'm down to tootle along the river until we find a crossing spot.
or
I'm with you on that one.
yeah, why don't we just go along the river and keep an eye out for a ferry?
Okay.
That works for me.
Okay. Put the pedal to the metal.
All right. So you all clamber back into the vehicle. And which direction are you guys driving?
We're gonna go left towards the river
Yeah, I mean, we should maybe head
And-
to the docks?
and down. See, that looks like it's on the other side of the river, though.
Yeah, we're just wondering if they've got docks on like highway. But yeah.
Well, we've passed that section already. Did we see docks? When we
Oh,
passed
yeah, you totally would have passed it. The Stygian Dock. When you guys would have passed it, I should have described that. I am so sorry. When you guys drove past the Stygian Dock, it looked like a massive iron structure that appears to be a pair of docking arms that straddles the River Styx and extends out over it. Hefty clamps, chains, and bars are fixed to the docking arms to lash large vessels between them. It's a 100-foot high service platform protruding from the rocky cliffs of the River Styx. Then clamps, chains, and bars fixed to the upper arms of the dock look like they hold a flying fortress. Look like they hold something in place that isn't there. And that's what you saw when you drove past it.
Interesting.
It looks more like a massive mechanism that holds something, and not exactly a bridge.
All right. Or like maybe more of a docking port for some kind of fly-y thing, and less of like a boat dock.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, it is a solid place to start.
Yeah. We could also just check to the watchtowers. Like we are right close there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go south and to the left towards the watchtower.
So, alright, so on the map you can see 3 watchtowers. You're going to the southwestern one or the western one. There's one kind of on the
Yeah.
western bank of the River Styx, and there's one kind of on the southern bank.
The
Yeah,
one closer to the volcanoes.
the one closer to the volcano, so the southern one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you start driving in that direction?
Yeah.
Alright. You start driving in that direction, and as you drive in that direction, that's where we're going to pick up next week. And because you guys got to the spawning trees, that's a level up to 8th level.
Yay!
Alright. Feats.
Live just in
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So roll your hit dice, and roll your health on your level up. And we will see you all next week for the continuation of Descent into Avernus. So, without further ado,